Hi Ryan and Gina, just a quick little video just to help you marking assessment task 3, which is due the first week back from college when I'm on leave. So let me just run you through the marking criteria and just some things to look for in the assessment task. And then I'm going to run you through Grade Centre and also weighting the assessment task. Ryan, you'll be pleased to know I've got an Excel file, so I don't need to ask you any more questions about it. So first of all, I'll just share my screen so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so here is the Word document, the learning guide, which is all online. Okay, let's jump forward. Okay, so as you already will know, students need to do their test, do their assessment on 2 tests. One from, they need to be from 2 different measurement topics. So for example, they can't do 2 from cardiovascular fitness or 2 from muscular fitness. They need to be from 1 from each. So I think most of us have only got 2 to 3 students in a group. So it kind of makes sense that one presents one presents the other. Okay, so let's just have a look at the marking criteria, which will help you out. Okay, so if we look at the first marking criteria here, it's quite explicit in the marking criteria what we're looking for. So it's marked for 1 test. So the marking criteria online is set up that you mark 1 test, then you come back in and mark the next test. So each test for each criteria is out of 5 marks. First thing that we have a look at is that they need to give a definition of what the measurement topic is. So make sure that we're looking at valid and reliable sources for their definition. And they may have already done it. Needs to go into a fair bit of detail about how it links to physical fitness, but also how that links into positive health, general health as well. Has a look at what we can get from the information about what can be extracted from the results. To be honest, I really think this is a bit of an overlap as to how we use the data and why we'd use the data in terms of a health perspective and also physical fitness perspective. So it kind of doubles over. So have a look and see how you go from there. Methodology is literally just copied straight from the lab book. So this is an easy giveaway, 5 marks. So I'm going to be pretty strict on the fact that if they actually just copy and paste everything from the lab book, that they can only get 3. If they've got some diagrams and have taken like a YouTube clip online, maybe give them 4 marks. But if they've gone to the effort and actually videoed members of their teams doing the test, then let's give them the full 5 marks for that. Next thing is that they need to present their data in a graph and also in a table. So I've said that they need to have all members of their group in their table. I also think it's good practice to actually have the normative data compared to it. So for example, you know, if you had my name, what my results was and how I fared compared to the normative data, for example, elite athlete, and do that from all of their members. And also too, if they convert that into a graph as well. And it'd be great to see if they could actually overlay the normative data over the top of theirs, or, you know, highlighted people who were high, low, etc., using some different colors. Next thing that they need to do is they need to actually have the normative data, which they're given as well, and just give us some information about what can be extracted. So for example, if they're quite low, how can that maybe link to negative health, or how could that maybe link to the fact that they might be needing an exercise training program? If they're quite low, for example, in flexibility or speed, need to have 2 ways. So maybe look at it from a health perspective and also a exercise science improving sports performance as well. The next thing that they need to have a look at the reliability and the validity of the test. They can't just say, yes, I think it's reliable, because there was you know, some errors in all of the tests that we conducted. You know, for example, we did a 100-meter sprint on concrete today. So how can they increase the reliability of the tests? So they need to, first of all, identify whether or not they think it's reliable. I really don't think that they can, no one can say that everything we did in our tests was valid and reliable. There's gaps in all of our testing. So then they need to have a look at, if they want to improve the reliability of the validity of the test, what can they do? And then finally, references. They need 6 references. And this is going to include referencing throughout their presentation as well, so some in-text referencing. The students are then marked on their presentation and also their presenting skill. To be honest, if one person's getting 5, it seems that everyone's going to get 5 in terms of presentation of content. So just make sure that their PowerPoint is not got their whole speech on it. Doesn't look horrible. Maybe just a picture or a couple of words. You know, make sure it looks visually appealing, all that sort of stuff. And then they should all vary here in their communication skills between their presenting skills, how well they do. So this leads me to the confusing part, Ryan, where we need to actually have a look at a peer assessment of how well they've contributed to the group process. So these are the questions that we're going to ask the students. So we ask the students to evaluate themselves and all other members of their group as well. And there is a complicated formula that is in the assessment. So I have created a Word doc and an Excel file. So for example, here we go. So I've filled this out. So you can use this and it should calculate the results totally for you. So for example, if I was assessing Gina, there's only 2 people in our group here. So I'm actually going to rate Gina as, you know, she was pretty average. So I'm going to give her an average of 3. And I thought that I was brilliant. So I'm actually going to give myself a brilliant mark. I was pretty good at that. And you'll see that my individual rating comes down below here. So then Gina is going to do the same. So just make sure, so if you've previously used the Excel file, make sure you just sort of highlight, right click and clear the contents if there's anything in there. Make sure you don't clear the contents in this file here because it's actually got the formulas. So for example, here I might just write, so this is Lenine. You don't need to write this, but it just might help you to not get confused. Okay, so actually that was Gina. Gina rated me as 5, sorry. So now Lenine, I'm going to value myself as 5. I've got no self-efficacy issues. And Gina is probably a 2. She rated herself at 3 and she thought she was pretty horrible as well. Okay, so all in all, my individual rating is 35. Gina's individual rating is 40. Hold on, I've rated. Well, there we go, I've rated there. So now what I do is that, say for example, if Gina and I in our assessment task got 50, in our assessment. Together as a group, we got 50. Now you'll go back to Gina's individual rating here was 40 and Lenine was 35. So I'm just going to put in 40 and 35. So what's 75 divided by 2? Ryan, you'll be able to do that. That's 37.5. So I put out 37.5, 37.5. So therefore, it automatically calculated that Gina's individual weighted mark was 53 and mine was 46. So this is the mark that you're actually going to be putting into the views. So you're going to mark this automatically when you're actually marking live during the group assessments, but then you manually will add this in. So I'll show you that in the views site. New share. Where is my views? Grade center. So if we come along here, this is the mark here for the group. So that's out of 55. That will automatically get marked when you're actually marking it live in class. Individual, you'll need to just fill that out individually for all of the students in your class. There's no marking criteria linked to that. So just mark that based on presentation skills and the 5. And then finally, the individual group. So this is actually the weighted mark as well. So this is where you're actually going to put the weighted mark in. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense and you will work it out. And this is our moderation technique. Thank you.